First of all, this is, should I miss writing volume 1? This is HCV chapter 14, volume 1. Okay. Uh, एक मिनट. अरे रे रे रे. Okay, I think I've uploaded all these pages in Fluid. Fluid में upload कर लिया मैंने. Shit. I think I'll rectify that. Fine. I think the people going through the notes will get scared suddenly. अरे ये कब पढ़ा है Fluid में? All these pages have been uploaded in Fluid. I'll change that. I'll delete that. Don't worry. Yeah. So I'll just go over this quickly. यहाँ पे in the last class, I think we just started properties of matter, and in it we started properties of liquids, and we are focusing on the first important property, which is viscosity. We saw that viscosity is very similar to the friction between two surfaces when at least one of the surfaces is a fluid. So both surfaces are solid, both surfaces are solids, you'll have friction between them. But if at least one of them is a fluid, then you'll have viscous force between them. Okay. What we also saw was that viscosity depends on a quantity called as velocity gradient. So we started by studying what this velocity gradient is. To start with, I said that velocity gradient is basically the rate at which velocity changes as we go deeper and deeper into the water body. In other words, it's the rate at which velocity changes with depth in a liquid. Is the rate at which velocity changes with depth in a liquid. All right. So what we said was when this plank moves, okay, when that plank moves, I'm noticing there's some lag in what I'm highlighting and what is getting highlighted on the screen. So just wait for the thing to catch up. Circle the plank around 5 seconds ago. Is there a lag in my voice as well? No lag in the voice. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks. Cool. So यहाँ पे क्या है? This when this plank moves with the velocity v, you can imagine the scene like this. कि the plank is attached to, I mean, it has some affinity, or it has developed some bonds with the layer of molecules right below it. Okay. Then those layer of molecules have developed some bonds with the layer of molecules below that. They have developed some bonds with the layer of molecules below that. All right. Now there are many such layers. मैंने ऐसा loosely थे ना 3 layers draw किया है between the plank and the floor of the water body. What we're going to observe is they're all forming bonds with temporary bonds with one another. Okay. So if you see this guy wants to move along with the plank, but then he also wants to move along with this guy. The middle one wants to move along with the top one as the top one goes ahead, but then he also wants to stay behind with the bottom one. The bottom one actually wants to stay behind with the floor because the bottom one is attached to the floor, right? It has formed some temporary bonds with the floor. So this guy wants to stay behind. This guy wants to move along the plank. The one in the middle is torn between the two. This is the first page. The one in the middle is torn between the two. And therefore, you see some kind of compromise setup where this guy moves with a velocity, then this guy moves with a slightly lesser velocity, then this guy even lesser, and finally, as you go further and further down, the velocity decreases, and ultimately, when you're at the layer right next to the floor, your velocity becomes 0. So velocity right at the top is almost the same as the velocity of the plank. The velocity right at the bottom is the same as the velocity of the floor. Can you see that kind of chain reaction gets set up the minute I start moving the plank? Plank उसके बगल में molecules को move कराएगा, फिर वो molecules उसके बगल के molecules को move कराएगा, है ना? By the time you, it's like this guy is trying to motivate the molecules to move. This guy is stubborn and he's not doing anything. So the people closest to him will not do anything. The people closest to the person moving will move along with him. But gradually the effect dies out as you go further and further away. Yeah, something like that is going on. Now, once again, last time बता रहा हूँ, ध्यान से सुनो. As this moves with some velocity, the molecules next to it also want to move along with it. Okay, but then they are also joined to the molecules below it. So then these molecules end up getting a velocity somewhat between the Planck's velocity and the velocity of the molecules below it. These guys are also having a velocity somewhere midway between the velocity of the molecules above it and the velocity of the molecules below it. Okay, and so on and so forth. And so it's like this floor is influencing these molecules to not move. That Planck is influencing these molecules to move along with it. Okay, and because they're all connected to each other, you will find a kind of velocity profile gets set up. Okay, so gradually as you go up, you find molecules ka speed increase and increase and increase. Okay, so it goes from 0 at the bottom to whatever is that Planck's velocity at the top. That's the kind of velocity profile that you see. Okay, profile just means a display of those velocities. So that's corruption की तरह या influence की तरह. Planck is influencing people to move and do something. Floor is influencing people to do nothing. Yeah, the closer you are to the floor, the more you will do nothing. The closer you are to the plank, the more you'll move along with the plank. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. Now, dv by dh, rate at which velocity changes with depth, that is called as velocity gradient. So rate at which velocity changes with depth is called as velocity gradient. So in this diagram, I've just I'm saying a couple of things. First of all, I'm saying the layers very close to V, they almost have the same velocity as they are in contact with the plank. So the layers very close to V almost have the same velocity as they are in contact with the plank. Then what I'm also saying is the layers at the bottom, okay, they have zero velocity. Okay, they have almost zero velocity as they are in contact with the ground. ठीक है, almost zero, मतलब कभी सवाल पूछ दिया तो zero ही बोल दो. If they ask you what is the velocity of the liquid at the bottom, say zero. Almost zero, the closest number is zero. What is the velocity of the liquid molecules in contact with the plank? Say V. Okay? And as you move away from them, velocity changes. और अगर यहाँ पे कोई लेयर पे velocity V dash है, थोड़ा सा dh distance ऊपर जाओ, velocity V dash plus dv हो जाता है, मतलब velocity dv से बढ़ गया, then dv by dh is velocity gradient. So is the change in velocity divided by how you move, divided by the amount you move vertically. Is the change in velocity that you observe divided by the amount you move vertically. Okay, dv by dh is velocity gradient. Now you can actually assume velocity varies linearly with depth. Okay, this is a fair assumption. As it is, we are looking at a very simplified model. So we are just again introducing ourselves to real world situations, but we are starting by simplifying things severely. So we'll assume that velocity varies linearly with depth, and that is more or less true if the depth is not too large, and if my voice is lagging. एक second, let me just एक minute check my internet. Even I'm having some doubts. a little slow, so I'm just gonna reset my internet. Okay, don't freak out. I may get disconnected. I'll connect in a minute. Okay. All right, guys, I'm back. I don't think the net is improved as such. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. Does the concept of velocity gradient apply to how dams are built? Not really, I think. Not really. Dams, you have static water. Huh? This is for, this is for flowing water. Dams, you have a pressure gradient. I mean, that's what you need to consider. How the pressure increases as we go further and further down. That's our concern. Not velocity as such. Because anyways, dam की दूसरी side है ना, liquid will be at rest. अब यहाँ पे क्या है? Can it become zero? So in the simplified model, we assume, in our simplified model, we are going to assume that our velocity varies linearly with depth. Okay, our velocity varies linearly with depth. That's what we're going to assume. So this is a fair assumption, provided the depth is not too big, and provided velocity, everything is steady, provided velocities and all are constant, then this is a fair assumption, provided there are no other external effects like current, or there are fishes and corals and all that stuff like that. If that's not there, this is a fair assumption. Okay? So for us, in your in your simplified model, you're always going to assume dv by dh is constant. You're always going to assume velocity varies linearly. What happens as a consequence of velocity varying linearly with depth? dv by dh is constant, and when your instantaneous value is constant throughout, instantaneous value becomes the same as your average value. If instantaneous speed is constant, instantaneous speed is going to be the same as average speed, right? Similarly, if instantaneous rate of change of velocity with respect to height is constant, it's going to be the same as your average velocity gradient, which will give you total change in velocity upon total change in height. Okay, so that is what you can use as your velocity gradient in every question from now on. Delta V by delta H. Delta V by delta H. Now, what is delta V? Delta V is the velocity difference between the layers, and delta H is the distance between the layers. Delta V is velocity difference between the layers. In this case, it's V minus 0, only V. And delta H is the distance between the layers. So delta H in this case is the depth of the water body. Okay. So that is your velocity gradient. Let me know when you're done copying this. Most of it was done in the previous class. Now a few extra lines are there. Let me know when you're done, then we'll move on. Yeah. Okay. Now, coming to the force. So the force of viscosity, it is experimentally found that your force is proportional to area. Okay, the force is proportional to area, proportional to the area of contact. So in the case of that plank which was moving on the surface of a liquid, the force of viscosity that that plank experiences is proportional to the area of that plank. So it's proportional to the area of that plank. Whatever area is in contact with your fluid is proportional to that area. Okay. In that sense, it's different. It's a little different than friction. Friction does not depend on the area. Kinetic friction doesn't depend on the area. Then the other thing it is proportional to is the velocity gradient. So our force of viscosity is also proportional to our velocity gradient, dv by dh, which is, it's more easy to understand that as delta v by delta h. So relative velocity upon change in height. Velocity कितने से change होता है upon कितना नीचे जाने में वो change दिखता है. So delta v by delta h, it's dependent on this thing. So that also is a little different from friction, because this is telling me viscosity has something to do with the velocities, while kinetic friction, static, they had nothing they had nothing to do with the velocity in those cases. They just had a fixed kinetic friction as a fixed value, has nothing to do with the velocity. All right, so therefore your force of viscosity now is proportional to these two terms, and that constant of proportionality, we'll zoom in a little bit, that constant of proportionality is eta. Okay, so it's represented by that Greek alphabet, and you can pronounce it as eta. So the constant of proportionality is eta, and this constant is called as the coefficient of viscosity. The constant is called as the coefficient of viscosity. As we were discussing in the previous class, this constant is greater for more viscous substances. Jitna zyada coefficient of viscosity, utna zyada utna viscous that substance. All right. So examples of viscous substances are honey, castor oil, etc. Yeah. So you don't need to, in fact, remember this. This page was not discussed in the last class. Okay, this is new. Last class we had done only a portion of page 1. We added a few more lines, and we're starting this page today. So where was I? Yeah, you don't need to remember the formula. So you don't need to remember the value of eta for any substance, not even water. You don't need to remember it. Okay? But just remember, the greater the eta, the greater the viscosity of that substance. The greater the eta, the greater the viscosity of that substance. Samarth, I'll come to that. In fact, two examples of viscous substances are honey and castor oil. Now, I want you to note one thing. Castor oil is actually lighter than water, but it's way more viscous than water. So therefore, do not associate viscosity with density across different materials. Don't associate viscosity with density across different materials. Viscosity may have something to do with how the molecules of that substance are bound to each other. What kind of forces those molecules have between each other, amongst themselves. Jada force hai, so it's not going to be easy to, stir that liquid, right? If jada force hai between the molecules, is going to be more viscous. Does that really directly correlate with the density? Does that really correlate with maybe the weight of the molecules? No. All right. So don't try to associate density with viscosity for different materials. But you can in a way do that for the same material. Yeah, very nice. It depends. Yeah, viscosity depends on the type of molecules. Molecules can be lighter, but the force between them can be stronger. So then it could be less dense, but more viscous. Okay, so you can't compare density with viscosity for different materials, but you can do it for the same material. Okay, so you will find that normally your coefficient of viscosity decreases as we increase temperature. And the reason that happens is because as we increase temperature, the molecules itself separate, right? There is expansion taking place. Molecules are separating. So because molecules are, yes, some bonds may break as well. Bonds may break, bonds may weaken. Molecules will separate. As molecules separate, your density is decreasing. At the same time, as the bonds are getting weaker, you're also finding your coefficient of viscosity will decrease in that case, because now the molecules are not that close to each other. So because they're not close to each other, the forces between them is weaker, right? And therefore, you can maybe stir more easily as you increase temperature. So for a substance, for a given material, as you're not changing the chemistry of that material's molecules, for a given material, you may observe कि अच्छा density तुमने कम किया heat करने पे, but साथ साथ viscosity भी कम हो गया heat करने पे. So you can say, okay, there seems to be like a correlation between density and viscosity, but you cannot apply that for different materials because then the chemistry of the molecules is different. Okay. In general, remember that on increasing temperature, it becomes easier to stir. Okay? Maybe try it with honey. Try stirring honey and then maybe try heating up honey. You may find it's easier to stir at a higher temperature. Don't waste it. But all right. Now, so the equation, ultimately now what is the equation? So force is proportional to area, proportional to coefficient of viscosity. The constant of proportionality is eta. So the actual equation is F is minus eta A dV by dH. F is minus eta A dV by dH. And you can understand that better as minus eta A delta V by delta H. Okay, so instantaneous rate, as we just said, is the same as average rate or average velocity gradient. So instead of finding dV by dH, just find total change in velocity as you go from the top to the bottom of the liquid upon total change in height as you go from the top to the bottom of the liquid. अब यहाँ पे वो माइनस साइन क्यों है? Don't let that minus sign scare you or confuse you. Minus sign is only there for one reason. The minus sign is there to denote that the force is opposite relative velocity. Okay, so that minus sign wala equation, which you may normally see in textbooks, that defines an axis. You normally see that equation when the person writing that equation has an axis in mind. So what is the idea of the person writing that equation? वो बोल रहा है कि अच्छा ये अगर मेरा ऑब्जेक्ट है, अगर मेरा ऑब्जेक्ट का इस फ्लोर के रिस्पेक्ट में रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी राइट की तरफ है ना, रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी राइट की तरफ है, तो उस ऑब्जेक्ट पे फोर्स उल्टा डायरेक्शन में लगेगा, लेफ्ट की तरफ लगेगा. माइनस साइन उसके लिए है. माइनस साइन इज टू टेल यू कि द फोर्स is opposite the direction of relative velocity. Yes, if you take the direction of relative velocity for this object to be positive, force becomes negative. If you take v to be delta v to be negative, force becomes positive. तो minus sign उस कारण के लिए है, vector equation के लिए है या components के लिए है, telling you कि force is in the opposite direction. Do you really need the minus sign to tell you the direction? I don't think so. If you know how to draw the directions of friction, you'll know how to draw the directions for viscosity. Okay? So you don't really need the minus sign to tell you the direction. Direction निकालना बहुत obvious है. Viscosity का एक काम है, it does, it's just imagine, it's like it's jealous. It doesn't like this guy moving ahead in life and the floor going nowhere in life. अब तक वो diagram आया है. It doesn't like the plank going ahead, doesn't like the floor staying behind. So if at all the plank is found moving towards the right, our viscous force will pull it behind and it will pull the floor ahead. Just give it some time while that loads. If you see the plank moving towards the right, viscous force will drag it behind and it will drag the plank ahead. We'll drag the plank ahead. Okay, यहाँ पे this is क्या y m a g m a m कहाँ पे है? This is eta for the coefficient of viscosity. ठीक है, it's the Greek alphabet eta, which looks like an n. Okay, it's the Greek n. Eta area delta v by delta h. Okay, eta area delta v by delta h, that's your force. Acha, this, oh, I'm so sorry, you were asking was this is mag, magnitude. So the magnitude is ultimately the magnitude is what is important. The magnitude is, just remove the minus sign, this is what you'll work with. F is eta a delta v by delta h. This is what you'll use in questions. Okay, so you don't need the minus sign. कोई भी सवाल में वो minus sign डालो मत, and don't confuse yourself. The directions are quite obvious. Just work with the magnitude of that force. Liquid कितना force लगाता है? Eta a delta v by delta h इतना force लगाएगा. Eta a delta v by delta h वैसा force लगाएगा. What is delta v? Is the relative velocity between the top and the bottom. Liquid के दोनों side कोई surface होगा ना, तो उसके बीच में relative velocity is delta v. वो surfaces के बीच में distance is delta h. और liquid force लगाता है eta a delta v by delta h. Okay, you can prove by Newton's laws कि liquid इस पे जितना आगे की तरफ लगाता है उतना ही इस पे पीछे की तरफ लगाता है. तो मैंने उल्टा बोल दिया. जो भी ऊपर वाले पे जितना लेफ्ट की तरफ लगाता है उतना ही नीचे वाले पे राइट की तरफ लगाता है. You can prove that by the equilibrium of the liquid, but ठीक है, ultimately that's the force applied by the liquid on your object, and you can easily work out the direction. So we'll do an example. ठीक है, now in this particular concept, almost even in an advanced exam, almost 99% of the questions are directly on this formula. Okay, I'll need to go over the units as well. I'll go over the units on the next page, but almost 99% of the questions are all very similar. They are all based on this kind of formula. There is some boat going over a water body. The depth of the water body is given, boat ka velocity is given, boat ka area is given, quotient of viscosity is given. They'll ask you viscous force or something like that. Huh? All questions are of those types. Okay, so we'll see that, and then we'll try a few variations as well. But as such, you get easy questions on this concept. Let me know when you're done. So this concept is very scoring. Viscosity as such is very scoring. Yes. So now, so one of you is asking, so what if the water is flowing, right? What if the water is flowing? Even if the water is flowing by itself, there will be a velocity gradient. Okay? So actually that starts to now become a little complex. When water in fact flows through a pipe, also there is a velocity gradient. Then depending on the type of the pipe, if the pipe is a circular cross section wala pipe, एक अलग type का gradient होगा. If it's a square cross section वाला pipe, अलग type का gradient होगा. So based on the type of the pipe, the velocity gradient is different. The underlying formulas are different. All right, so it gets more and more complex. But fortunately for us, we don't have any of that. For us, whenever we have to solve a question on viscosity, it's going to be that kind of question where you have some plank, some boat moving on the top of a liquid. So you'll always have a layer of liquid. एक layer of liquid होगा, liquid के ऊपर कुछ चीज move हो रहा होगा, नीचे कुछ चीज move हो रहा होगा या rest पे होगा. जैसे ऊपर boat move हो रहा है, नीचे flow rest पे है, and उस layer में एक velocity profile setup हो जाएगा जो linearly vary करेगा. That is all you guys have. Okay? You don't have flow through a pipe. You don't have anything else. Okay? So that's all you have for viscosity. That's good. You learn viscosity in more detail in your engineering days, in your second year and your third year. All right. So I'll quickly go over the units once. Now, units is where most people mess up. Yeah, a lot of people mess up over the units, and I'll tell you why. So first and foremost, the SI units, you can work that out. Force is Newton. Newton is eta area. Delta V is meter per second. By delta H is meter. So if I cancel out meter, you can see for yourself, eta is going to be Newton second by meter square. Thanks, Aman. Thanks. Eta is going to be Newton second by meter square in the SI units. In the CGS units, it's given a special name poise after a scientist named Poiseuille. So it's given the name poise. And the trick or the place where people make mistakes is it's actually the CGS unit this time, which is more common, which is more popular, and therefore which is used more often. All right, so it's the CGS unit which is used more often. Now, how do we convert from the CGS unit to the SI unit? So you can see that one poise should be corresponding CGS values, likh lo, 1 dyne into 1 second upon 1 centimeter square. 1 dyne is 10 to the power minus 5 Newton. 1 centimeter square is 10 to the power minus 4 meter square. When you divide the two, right, you end up getting 10 to the power minus 1 Newton second by meter square. So 1 poise is 1 by 10 Newton second by meter square. In other words, 1 SI unit is 10 CGS units. So 1 SI unit is 10 poise. Now, the conversion is not tough. Even if you forget it, you can easily look at the formula. You can figure out Newton second by meter square out. You can figure out how 1 poise relates to the SI unit. None of that is difficult. But what mistake people make is they forget that poise is the CGS unit. Wo bhulo mat. Okay? In fact, whenever a question on viscosity is asked, you will, if you're given the value of eta, they'll give it to you in poise. If they give you the value of, if they're asking you the value of eta, they'll again expect the answer in poise. All right. So at that stage, you need to remember that poise is the CGS unit. To convert from poise to the SI units, you'll have to divide by 10. Or to convert from SI to poise, you'll have to multiply by 10. Remember that it's at least the CGS units, and that'll be enough. Okay. Yeah, options will always be in poise. One of you is saying poise is used more often, तो वहां से याद कर लो कि है ना, यहाँ पे वो 10 से याद कर लो कि to convert from SI to CGS you multiply by 10. ठीक है, if that helps. But yeah, your options will always be in poise for SI units. Okay? तो एक question कर लो. For viscosity, your option will always be in poise. Okay, so one simple question. Majority of the questions are going to look like this. I'll go back. I think I'll go back. बता दो कब हो गया. Okay, waiting for one more. What is S? S is seconds. कहाँ पे S? N dot S, Newton dot seconds. by meter square. वेलोसिटी में था ना मीटर पर सेकेंड, वो वहां से सेकेंड आया है. That's one dyne into बाबा वो s को थोड़ा भाव दो, s है one dyne into second by centimeter square. Newton second by meter square. The corresponding CGS units is one dyne into 1 second upon 1 centimeter square. उसको न्यूटन सेकंड पर मीटर स्क्वायर के फॉर्म में लिखा. ठीक, तो वहां से पॉइज और SI यूनिट्स के बीच में रिश्ता मिल गया. Okay, cool. So now जल्दी कौन जल्दी. I'll just yeah, almost all the questions that you see in viscosity are going to be of the following type. Yeah. So in this question, you're given a plank. Yeah, the plank has mass 10 kg. The plank is moving with a velocity of 5 meters per second. The area of that plank is 3 meters square. That's the area in contact with the liquid. Liquid's coefficient of viscosity is 2 points. The depth of the liquid is 50 meters. Find the acceleration of the plank. Very simple question. Units are not right. Check the units carefully. सही नहीं है, मतलब पावर सही नहीं है. Three is wrong. 0.6 is wrong. 1 by 500 is wrong. 6 into 10 raised to 5 is wrong. Carefully करो please. पूर्वा सही है, शिवांग सही है. फॉर्मूला लिख रहा हूँ, eta A delta V by delta H is force. नहीं, eta is not 20 in the SI units. उल्टा है, poise is still smaller. 1 Newton second per meter square is 10 poise. So think of it as centimeter and millimeter. Poise is the smaller one. प्रत्याशा सही है. सानिका सही है. रुद्रा सही है. Summers, I think you found force. You need acceleration. Was that the mistake? Rugved सही है. श्रेया सही है. Okay, so let's discuss very simple, very straightforward. Anyone still wants me to wait? Yeah, simple है. देखो क्या करना है. Eta is 2 poise. Deal with that before you make any mistake. 2 poise is 2 by 10 in the SI units. Okay, 1 poise is 1/10 of our SI unit. So eta is 2 by 10 in our SI units. My force is eta A delta V by delta H. Force is eta A delta V by delta H. So eta is 2 by 10. Area is 3 and delta V is 5. इसके बीच में और उसके बीच में velocity है 5 and delta H is 50. So 2 by 10 into 3 into 5 by 50. That's your force. Okay. That 5 by 50 becomes 1 by 10. So 2 into 3 is 6. 6 by 10 by 10, that's becomes 6 by 100. So 6 by 100 Newton is your force. If you want acceleration, then acceleration is going to be force by mass. So you divide it again by mass. So then that becomes 6 by 1000 meters per second square. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. 6 by 1000, yeah, 6 millimeters per second square is your acceleration. Cool. So most of the questions are like this. Thoda they'll change the narrative. They'll maybe make that water body, they'll make it a lake, or they'll make it an ocean, or they'll make the plank a boat. So they'll create questions, but this is the idea. A is negative. A negative makes sense when you take a direction as positive. So if they have defined x to be positive and they're saying velocity is along x, then your acceleration is going to be along negative x. So therefore its x component will be negative. But if you have just figured out the acceleration left की तरफ है, that's more than enough. Left की तरफ क्यों है? Planck right की तरफ जाने की कोशिश कर रहा है. So the relative velocity को oppose करने के लिए your liquid will apply force on the plank in the backward direction and on the floor in the forward direction. Okay. So that in fact your force of viscosity has the same directions as you would expect between two blocks. Yeah. ये रेस्ट पे है, वो V से जा रहा है. You would expect these kind of forces of friction, right? वैसे ही you will have forces of viscosity. Only difference is अब वो ब्लॉक के बीच में एक लिक्विड आ रहा है जो ये फोर्स लगा रहा है. ब्लॉक्स के बीच में एक लिक्विड आ रहा है जो ये फोर्स अल्टीमेटली लगा रहा है. We'll try now some more variations. Okay, these all most questions are like this, but थोड़ा variation try करेंगे to get some more conceptual understanding of this formula. Anyone wanting me to wait over here? बोल दो wait. Others I'll move on. Okay. Please remember that poise ka thing. I've seen so many silly mistakes happen. Poise is the CGS unit. Remember that. Okay? That's the killer. उसी में गड़बड़ होता है सबका. अब इसमें interesting question है. What do I have over here? So I have 3 planks. Okay, 3 planks, each of mass. Yeah, their masses are m1, m2, m3. Their velocities are v1, v2, v3, and they are along the directions as labeled. You may assume v1 is greater than v2. The area of each plank is A. Okay. Now, what is not nicely visible between them is somehow there's some liquid between these planks. So the liquid between planks M1 and M2 has a coefficient of viscosity eta A and has a thickness of HA. Okay, the distance between the planks is HA. The distance between M2 and M3 is HB, and the liquid between M2 and M3 has a coefficient of viscosity eta B. Okay, so 2 liquids and 3 planks. Question is, I need you to find the accelerations of the 3 planks. Find A1, A2, A3. Formula is eta area relative velocity upon delta H. Okay. Yeah, thickness. Try karo. Okay, yeah. You want, you can write eta as n as well. If you're, I'll understand that as well. Kushagra, your answer is no, you need to check the delta V wala term. Ayush, you also need to check the delta V term. Oh, no, Ayush, sorry, yours is correct. My bad. Sahi hai, perfect. शिवांक एक्सेलरेशन चाहिए. नहीं कुशाग्रा. And just to again just to explain what delta V meant. Delta V means the relative velocity between those two layers. है ना? तो तुम जिन लेयर्स के बीच में हाइट लिख रहे हो, डेल्टा एच अगर तुम ये ले रहे हो, तो किन लेयर्स के बीच में तुम हाइट ले रहे हो एज डेल्टा एच, उन लेयर्स के बीच में डेल्टा वी लिखो, रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी लिखो. Subtraction होगा मेरा, subtraction होगा. When two trains go in the same direction, the relative velocity is velocity one train minus velocity of the other train. प्रत्याशा सही है, शिवांक सही है. तन्मय, I think first वाला you're missing some subscripts. The first one is correct, second one is not correct. कुशाग्रा सही है अभी. चलेगा, v1 minus v2 चलेगा, क्यों नहीं? You know the direction, that's what matters. You just make sure you know that the acceleration is towards right or it's towards left. That's what matters. आयुष सही है, वेरी नाइस. श्रेया सही है. नहीं, श्रेया A2 का आंसर सही नहीं है. A2 is a middle वाला plank. Yes, Ayush. Maybe I'll just get some of you started for those who haven't started. So maybe I'll just show you how we can get F of, how we can find the force applied by one of the liquids. Okay, Shivang say here, the force applied by one of the liquids, for instance, the force applied by liquid A. First of all, liquid A pulls the upper plank towards the left and it pulls the lower plank towards the right. Yeah, this guy is trying to bring social justice. This guy is going ahead in life at a fast rate. This guy is going ahead in life at a slow rate. So this liquid tries to slow down the fast guy, speed up the slow guy. Okay. Therefore, it applies Fa on the upper plank and the middle plank as well. What is the magnitude of that force? Eta A delta V by delta H is my formula. Eta for the liquid is eta A, area is A. Delta V is V1 minus V2 and delta H is HA. Delta H is HA. Okay, so that's the force applied by liquid A on both the upper plank and the middle plank. Okay. Similarly, find the force applied by liquid B. Acha, by the way, I have not revealed the answer yet. This is just the force. Force applied by liquid A. This is just to get you started. Again, liquid A is pulling the upper plank behind, pushing the lower plank forward. But with what force? That force is iska viscosity into inke areas. They have a common area. That's why we are writing the same forces. So viscosity into area into V1 minus V2. Okay? Into V1 minus V2. That's the velocity difference into HA upon HA. Alright, so that's force on A. Similarly, find force on B. Use that to find acceleration of 1 and acceleration of 2 and acceleration of 3. Pratyasha sahi hai. Make sure you know the direction for that. Plus and minus is better if you say right and left. Shreya sahi nahi. Sahi nahi. Yes, Tanmay ab sahi. FB, right? Similarly, FB is going to be eta A delta V by delta H. So eta of liquid B into area into velocity, relative velocity for this liquid. So what is the relative velocity across its ends? You have these guys moving in opposite directions. So when you move in opposite directions, relative speed adds up. All right, so the relative velocity becomes V2 plus V3. And the height difference becomes HB. So eta BA, V2 plus V3, HB. So you have all your forces. There's only one force acting on the upper liquid, upper plank. There's only one force acting on the lowest plank. There are two forces acting on the middle plank. But you know all the forces. So now it's just simple. Newton's second law. See? Lot of answers are pouring in and looks very big for me to read accurately and confirm. Everyone's pouring in the answers. It's good to see you guys are getting it. And most probably, I think most of you are on the right track. You can just cross-check the answer in the end to see if it's the same. But yeah, that's the idea. Yes. Sahi dikh raha hai, Ayush. Okay. So Finally, to find the accelerations, just apply Newton's second law. So acceleration of the uppermost plank is F upon A, is Fa divided by m1, because there's only one force acting on the uppermost plank. So Fa is towards the left, so Fa by m1, this is our acceleration towards the left. Fa इतना था, वो आंसर m1 से डिवाइड कर लो तो a1 आ जाएगा. a3 also is easy to find. a3 पे एक ही फोर्स लग रहा है, fb लग रहा है राइट की तरफ. Remember a3 was going towards the left, है ना? So it was being pulled towards the right by our liquid. Okay, delta h is a very simple term. अच्छा, delta h में confusion हो रहा है. See, क्या है? हाँ, v2 plus v3 ना. ये डेल्टा एच एक बार समझा देता हूँ. सी, द आइडिया इज मुझे वेलोसिटी ग्रेडियंट लिखना है. मुझे लिखना है कि, है ना, जैसे ये यहां से यहां जाते वक्त वेलोसिटी कितने से चेंज हुआ डिवाइडेड बाय हम लोग नीचे कितना गए, दैट इज डेल्टा वी बाय डेल्टा एच. तन्मय, I'll come to that. ठीक है, तो व्हाट इज वेलोसिटी ग्रेडियंट? नीचे जाते वक्त हमें देखना है वेलोसिटी कितने से चेंज हुआ अपॉन कितना नीचे गए. Now you could do it for any section of this liquid. You need not even do it for the entire liquid. But why do we take the entire liquid? Because entire liquid, we take the entire liquid because उसके ends के velocities पता है. ऐसा random दो point बीच में उनके velocities ही नहीं पता. I could have done delta V by delta H for that as well, but I don't know those velocities. So I'm going to use the velocities of the ends of the liquid. And if I'm using velocity of the ends of the liquid, I must use this as my delta H. So at the end, delta H is only the thickness of the liquid. If you go back to page 1, I've written nicely as well. Delta H is the distance between the layers. जिन layers का तुम velocity difference, relative velocity निकाल रहे हो, उन layers के बीच में distance. This is delta H for liquid A. This is delta H for liquid B. Got it? Delta V is इनका relative velocity, and delta V is इनका, for the second liquid, is इनका relative velocity. So some of your answers are featuring V1 plus V3. I don't know where that's coming from. This liquid's force has nothing to do with V1. This liquid's force only has to do with V2 and V3. Okay. So I hope that was a silly mistake, but I hope now it's clear कि है ना, you have V2 and V3. Then I'll come to why some of you got A2 wrong. A3 पे एक ही force लग रहा था नीचे वाले liquid के कारण. So FB towards the right was the force on A3. Force by mass is acceleration. So A3 becomes whatever that force was. Eta B area, delta V was V2 plus V3, delta H was HB. That force divided by mass, that is A3. A2, some of you got A2 wrong because A2 actually has two forces acting on it. All right, it's moving slowly with respect to the upper layer. So therefore, this upper liquid is actually trying to pull this guy ahead. है ना, इसके कंपैरिजन में M2 धीरे जा रहा है, तो the upper liquid is pulling it ahead. So Fa is acting in the forward direction for M2. But then this guy is going towards the right, this guy is going towards the left. The upper liquid does not like that. So it pulls M2 towards the left and M3 towards the right. So you can see M2 has two forces acting on it, Fa as well as Fb. How do I find the acceleration of 2? Net force by mass, Newton's second law. The net force मतलब वो दोनों force consider करना था. If I want acceleration towards the right, then I'll have to write Fa minus Fb divided by M2. Fa का value already पता है, eta A V1 minus V2 by HA, उसको M2 से divide किया. Fb का भी value पता है, eta B A V2 plus V3 divided by HB. Okay, and उसको भी M2 से divide किया, and this is our answer. You could have written Fb minus Fa as well if you are writing the acceleration towards the left. So all those who have written the acceleration towards the left, your answer will look the exact negative of whatever I wrote. Either way, our answers are the same. Vector towards the left is the same thing with a minus sign towards the right. but समझ में आ गया ये? Any doubts? Now I'll just try to address any pending doubts. One of he was asking, so using these equations, can we find the influence of M3 on M1? Like the force on M1 depends on the velocity of M2, and velocity of M2 depends on the force of M3. क्या? You can, I can say this key, given V1 and V3, you can find the final equilibrium value of the velocity of V2, or the final equilibrium value of V2, steady state value of V2. वैसा relate कर सकते हो. I'll maybe take a question like that as well. Given V1, V3, you can be asked to find V2. So in that sense, yeah, they do influence each other. But it's not that complex a correlation as you may be trying to imagine in your mind. Break it down into something very simple. It's just ultimately two liquids. Both liquids behave the same way. They want to apply a force, eta area delta V by delta H. That is the force each liquid applies. So just keep imagining this equation as liquid by liquid. Each liquid is trying to apply forces like friction would apply. That's where you get the directions from. And the magnitude of force is simply eta A, relative velocity by distance between the layers. Okay. A question करेंगे where your doubt can be addressed. Nobody was saying wait. So why is FA on the second plank in opposite direction as compared? Of course, opposite direction as compared to the first plank. ये समझो ना, relative motion हो कैसे रहा है? ये वाला काफी तेजी से आगे जा रहा है, ये वाला धीरे से आगे जा रहा है. Okay, so what happens is this liquid plays the role of friction. Imagine if these were blocks. What would friction do? Friction would pull this guy towards the left because this guy is going too fast, and it will push this guy towards the right because this guy is going too slow, because that is the direction of your relative velocity. If you draw the relative velocity, so the relative velocity of the upper guy, because he's faster, is towards the right, but the relative velocity of the lower guy, because he's slower, is towards the left. So this opposes relative motion. Relatively M2 लेफ्ट की तरफ जा रहा है लिक्विड की कंपैरिजन में, तो लिक्विड उसको राइट की तरफ खींच रहा है, एंड relatively M1 राइट की तरफ जा रहा है तो लिक्विड उसको लेफ्ट की तरफ खींच रहा है. समझा? Clear the directions just like you would draw for blocks. Imagine there's no liquid. Imagine there are 3 blocks and I've given you velocities like this. How would you draw the directions of the forces? ऐसे ही होता था ना, FA FB. जैसे उन ब्लॉक्स के लिए करोगे वैसे ही इधर भी कर लो. Okay. And why will V3 not affect A1? Simple सी बात है. Who's applying? What is A1 affected by? A1 is affected by the forces acting on it. Who's applying the force? This liquid. These are all contact forces. So only liquid A is in contact with it. What does liquid A's force of viscosity depend on? Depends only on V1, V2. As long as V1, V2 का value fixed है at this instant, I'm not talking about the longer run. At this instant, इसका velocity कुछ भी होने दो, A1 is not going to depend on that, because है ना, इस liquid का viscous force does not depend on whatever is below M2, and it does not depend on whatever is above M1. Clear है? Okay. Okay. तो एक और इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल करते हैं. Let's say let's say we have two liquids. Okay, so okay, let's just say ki, you have this plank moving with some velocity v. Let's say iska area is a. Okay, this is eta a, this is eta b. So these are two liquids. This floor is at rest. Okay, this floor is at rest. This is the interface between the two liquids. Okay, you are also given the thickness of the two liquids. This is HB, obvious values HA. Okay, I want you to find okay, find the velocity of the interface. Okay, find the velocity of the interface. So at the interface, with what velocity are the liquids moving? Find that. Find the velocity v dash of the interface. Sorry. I'll give you some hint. ठीक है, थोड़ा hint दे देता हूँ. Hint is just take a small section of area, that interface, and try to apply Newton's third law for that section. That's your hint. at this also, I just repeat, don't think कि viscosity के ऐसे सवाल आते हैं. I said 99% of the questions are like that first Planck वाला question that we did. बोट रहेगा, लेक रहेगा, बस डायरेक्ट F is eta A delta V by delta S वैसे ही क्वेश्चन आता है मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द टाइम्स. ये थोड़ा ये अब ये एडवांस एग्जाम में आ सकता है. ये थोड़ा आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग यू थिंक लिटिल बिट एक्स्ट्रा. ठीक है. एंड इट्स नॉट अबाउट V dash being constant. This is the situation at an instant. At this instant, I need to figure out the velocity of that interface. We'll of course assume that the velocity profile has gotten set up. Okay, so you can assume that the Planck's velocity is a constant, and therefore the velocity profile has been set up. So on that note, yes, interface's velocity is a constant. Yes, Shivang, that's also correct. Yes. Zero, I hope you're not expecting zero. क्यों? Flow rest पे है. So are you seriously trying to say कि throughout this region, interface भी rest पे, floor भी rest पे है? तो it's like Planck के कारण सिर्फ ये वाला liquid move करेगा, but उसके नीचे वाला liquid move नहीं करेगा. Is that what you're trying to say? Doesn't make sense, no? ठीक है, again hint दे रहा हूँ. Try out this hint, okay? चलो, hint क्या दे रहा हूँ देखो. Assume a hypothetical area over here. Assume a hypothetical section of area A dash. Please find the force that the liquid A applies on this section, or the liquid A applies on liquid B through the section, and the liquid B applies on liquid A through the section. Find those two forces. By Newton's second law, those two forces should be equal and opposite. Poorna, your answer is correct. Nice. Good. Yes, Ayush, yes. Two root G by A is not correct. Don't worry. I mean, I think I'll explain it, then you'll understand. Should I explain it, or do you think you guys are still almost about to get it? I've just said, if you try, in fact, the answer can almost be there. If you try writing the force, try writing the force जो ऊपर वाला liquid A dash पे लगा रहा है. Try writing the force जो नीचे वाला liquid A dash पे लगा रहा है. इसका velocity भी हमने V dash assume किया है. तो वो दो force लिखो ना. And Newton's third law say these two forces should have the same magnitude. Because force the liquid A applies on B and B applies on A is equal and opposite. ठीक है, चलो डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. Don't worry if you found this tough. Maybe it's not easy to strike, but if you look at it, maybe you'll realize कि अच्छा ठीक है, उतना शायद मुश्किल नहीं था. क्या करना है इसमें? If you first notice कि I've just considered an interface of area A dash, and you can see that liquid A is going to apply some force on liquid B. So this is the force on A by B. Okay, let's call this F2, and liquid B is going to apply some force on A. Let's call that F1. So these two forces are equal and opposite. Okay, F2 and F1 are equal and opposite by Newton's third law. By Newton's third law, the force that the upper liquid applies on the lower liquid, force that the lower liquid applies on the upper liquid, they should be equal and opposite by Newton's third law. Now, if you try writing these forces, what is the upper liquid applying on that interface? So actually, it's applying eta of that liquid into area of this interface. Okay. Sanika, that could be right. I'll have to just cross check. Yeah. One is saying, so will we not consider the weight of liquid 1? So how does weight of liquid 1 affect whatever we are trying to achieve over here? Is weight of liquid 1 applying a force? Of course it's applying. Is that horizontal? First of all, no. Does that negate this equation? Is F2, will it really affect F2 being equal to F1? No. So Newton's third law se aa raha hai, F2 and F1 should be equal. And why aren't we breaking our head over the vertical forces over the weight wale forces? Why are we only looking in the horizontal direction? Why are we not breaking our head over that? Because those terms are not going to involve velocity. Pressure wale forces will not involve velocity. We want velocity. We're working with velocity. So we are only concerned with somehow finding a relation between the viscous forces. The fact of the matter is, the viscous force that liquid A applies on B is the viscous force that liquid B applies on A. Okay. Now, if you want, let A dash be their area of contact. ये छोटा की जगह पूरा area of contact भी ले सकते हो. If A dash is their area of contact, what is liquid A applying? Yeah, no problem. The answer is complex. Just cross check if this is the same. So what is liquid A applying? It's applying eta A into contact area into delta V. Now, what is delta V for liquid A? Look at these two. They are in the same direction. So delta, I've assumed V dash also towards the right. You'll find that to be correct as well. So delta V is V minus V dash. Same direction ka relative velocity. And delta H is HA. So this is the force that liquid A applies on liquid B. What is the force liquid B applies on liquid A? तो वो तो उसका quotient of viscosity use करेगा. Contact area is the same. उसके लिए relative velocity. So the floor being at rest, the floor's velocity is 0. So relative velocity for the lower liquid is V dash minus 0. Delta H for the lower liquid is HB. तो ये है अपना equation. बस Newton's third law. इससे आ जाएगा V dash. समझा ये इक्वेशन क्या है ना? ऐसा ultimately at the end Newton's third law should be valid. So whatever force liquid A is applying on B, उतना ही force B must apply on A. उतना ही force B must apply on A. ठीक है? You might as well, you can write it for any small you can write it for any small cross-sectional area, or you can also write it for the entire cross-sectional area. Is up to you. Ultimately, eta A dash delta V by delta H for the first liquid is eta A dash delta V by delta H for the second liquid. They apply equal and opposite forces. Got it? यहाँ से तुम्हारा आंसर आ जाएगा. A dash कटेगा. Rearrange these terms. So eta A upon HA V dash, sorry, V, send V dash to the other side, is eta B upon HB plus eta A upon HA. So that's actually your answer. Some of you have maybe taken LCM and maybe just reshaped it, but ultimately this is your answer. The area of the plank was of no use to you. Very nice. All those who managed to solve this, very nice. You can clap for yourselves. Okay? Area of the plank was of no use to us. They will sometimes give distracting values in the question. Okay? Again, simple in the end, not very difficult, but again, I'm saying this is not something you'll find often. This would come under the advanced side of things. Most basic, I mean, normally you just find very basic questions on viscosity. I'll do one more, okay? And then we'll move on. So I'll give you one more question. Could we also assume the entire surface element of the liquid to be of, could we have also assumed the entire, okay, could we have also assumed the surface area element of the liquid? Could you have taken a liquid of, you could have actually taken any cross-sectional cross-section of liquid over here. It could have been the same as A as well, because at the end A would have disappeared. Fundamentally, it is going to be Newton's third law, and over whatever cross-sectional area you're applying Newton's third law, over whatever cross-sectional area you're going to apply Newton's third law, you will end up cancelling out area. Alternatively, I think this is what you're trying to say. Some of you may have taken a very small element itself like this. Some of you may have taken a small element like that. And then you might have said ki force that the upper liquid is applying on that element is this, and force that the lower liquid is applying on that element is this. And then also you can equate these two forces, because that element is a thin element. And because it's a thin element, its mass is almost zero. And because its mass is almost zero, the net force acting on it should be zero. So then by Newton's first law, acceleration zero, sorry, yeah, Newton's second law say mass zero hai, to force zero hai, force zero hai, to F1, F2 बराबर है, ultimately वो relation आ जाएगा. Okay? So you could have also taken an element. You could have taken a few molecules of the surface. You said molecules का mass negligible है, मतलब ऊपर से जो force लग रहा है, नीचे जो force लग रहा है, बराबर होना चाहिए. है ना? Molecule को mass negligible है. ऊपर से force, नीचे से force बराबर होना चाहिए. Which is what it turns out to be. That gives us this answer. ठीक है? Why direction of F2 will be towards the right? Okay, why will direction of F2 by first of all by Newton's third law? See, what is happening is if you look at this interface, this is definitely not moving as fast as the plank. So while the plank is pulled behind, actually ये थोड़ा तुम्हें शायद confusion हो रहा है. F1 ये जो direction है ना, I'll just say that here F1 is the force on liquid A by liquid B. Okay. F1 is the force on liquid A by liquid B. B के हिसाब से all the layers of A are moving too fast. A is closer to the plank. B is closer to the floor. So definitely liquid A is moving faster than liquid B. So liquid B is trying to pull liquid A behind. Okay, I'm not drawing the force on the interface. I'm talking about B A पे क्या force लगा रहा है. Yeah, so B is trying to pull A behind, and vice versa. F2 towards the right is the force on liquid B by liquid A. Correspondingly, F2 towards right is force on liquid B by liquid A. I mean, I hope you get the idea. अब समझ में आया what I meant? And at the end of the day, these forces are equal and opposite. So the equation has come from that. Okay. One last question. ठीक है? Already actually काफी इज्जत दे दिया viscosity को. Let me remind you, your questions are actually going to look like this. Yeah, I've never seen different questions in an exam. All questions on viscosity look like this. ठीक है? But that said, थोड़ा conceptual strength improve करें. जैसे ये मान लो ऐसा question आ सकता है कि imagine that I have a boat. Okay, so imagine that this is my I have a small boat over here, and this boat has a sail. Okay, so let A1 be the area of the sail. Sail पता है ना? I mean, and imagine that the sail is okay. Let A1 be the area of the sail, and imagine that the sail is perpendicular to the wind. Okay, let A2 be the area of the base. Base of the boat, okay? Area of the base of the boat. You're given velocity of the wind as V1. V1 is velocity of the wind. You're given sigma as density of air. Okay. You're given eta as viscosity of the liquid. Just maybe label eta. All right. You're given the height of the liquid as h. Okay. So find now यहाँ पे क्या है? Assume that the wind, assume that the air molecules come to rest after striking the sail. Assume that the air molecules come to rest after striking the sail. Okay, so find the force applied by the wind. Okay, I'm borrowing from the previous chapter. Find the force applied by the wind. And finally, this is a little interesting, find the steady state velocity of the boat. Steady state velocity of the boat. Again, these are all advanced level, good questions. Okay? Not all your questions are going to be like this. But still, come on, try to work your brain and solve this one. Can you use your intercept वाला interface वाला interface तो अब इसमें एक ही liquid है ना, तो why you want to think like that? एक ही liquid है. एयर का मैंने कुछ ऐसा विस्कोसिटी वगैरह नहीं दिया है ना. एयर इन जनरल मतलब v1 वेलोसिटी से ही जा रहा है. The air का velocity is given for a different reason. यार hint ये है, it has to deal with thrust force. कुछ याद आ रहा है? We have solved questions where a water jet would hit a wall, and we have found the force that a water jet hits the force that the water jet applies on the wall. There's a simple formula for that. वही तो करना है यहाँ पे. Air, wind is like nothing like it's just a jet of air hitting our sail, and it's hitting our sail perpendicularly. So what is the force? And it's coming to rest. So what is the force that the wind applies on the sail? Purna, your first answer is correct. A2 is the base of A2 is the area of the base of the boat. Purna, your first equation of continuity is not involved. Thrust force is involved. Thrust force is involved. Yeah, that's your hint. Thrust force is involved. Yeah. Purna, first equation सही है. There are second equation, second answer देख रहा हूँ, एक मिनट. Yes, सही है. Nice यार, good. पूर्णा का हो गया. Please understand that the boats actually थोड़ा confusion हो रहा है. Boat's velocity need not be v1. Okay, the boat's velocity need not be v1. Boat's velocity, I'm asking you. In fact, steady state velocity of the boat, I'm asking you. So the steady state velocity of the boat, v2 is what I'm asking. Okay. Thrust force याद है? Rho a v क्या करते थे? Rho a v final minus v initial. Use that formula. Okay, that's your hint. इसके लिए रो ए v final minus v initial, इतने फोर्स से एयर बोट को पुश कर रहा है. तो एटलीस्ट कम ऑन, फर्स्ट पार्ट का आंसर सही से बता दो. रो ए v into v final minus v initial. This help you with the first part. ठीक है. Come on, तुम ये क्वेश्चन जब जैसे ही मैंने ये क्वेश्चन जैसे ही कंसेप्ट पढ़ाया था, and I gave you a pipe throwing some water on a wall, you immediately answered. Isn't this the same thing? Isn't my air like a fluid striking a wall of area A2 ठीक है. So air is like a fluid of density sigma coming and striking a wall of area A2, and V initial for air is V1, but V final for air is 0. So as we want to find that thrust force, okay, so in fact the formula that we have for thrust force on liquid is density into area into velocity. पहले फॉर्मूला लिखता हूँ. फॉर्मूला है होता है रो ए वी वी फाइनल वेक्टर माइनस वी इनिशियल वेक्टर. थोड़ा याद आ रहा है? रो इज सिग्मा, एरिया इज A2. Is it A1? Sorry, it's A1. Area is A1. A2 नीचे का था. तो सिग्मा A1, incoming velocity V1, final velocity 0. No, my screen is not frozen. I can see it on another device as well. तुम्हारा कुछ हो गया होगा, देख लो. Minus V1 towards the right. ठीक है. So यहाँ से हो जाएगा कि the liquid experiences minus sigma A1 V1 square towards the right, मतलब sigma A1 V1 square towards the left. This is force on the liquid. In fact, liquid की जगह I should say air. This is force on air by the sail. Force on air becomes sigma A1 V1 square towards the right. अपना सादा रो ए वी स्क्वायर जो तुमने रटा हुआ है ना, वही वही आ रहा है अल्टीमेटली. ठीक है. So this is thrust force on air, and therefore force by air becomes the same amount towards the right. The force by air becomes the exact same amount instead of towards left. Now this is towards the right. So the wind sail is being pushed forward with this velocity. Okay, it's being pushed forward with this velocity. So for lack of time, I'll just try to wrap this up. Steady state का एक और concept हम आगे भी एक in the next concept में भी सीखेंगे. So I want you to remember this idea for steady state. They have now told that the boat moves with a steady velocity. Yeah, so boat's velocity is steady. Steady का मतलब क्या है? What can you understand with this? Steady, constant. Yeah, Sanik, I'll just check that. Most probably correct लग रहा है. Boat's velocity is steady means boat's velocity is constant. The boat's velocity is constant means boat's acceleration is 0. No, steady means constant indefinitely. Steady means is not going to change again. Okay, steady means is not going to change again. Matlab its velocity is constant, matlab its acceleration is 0. So because acceleration is 0, net force on the boat is 0. Steady state में net force on that object is 0. Okay, तो क्या हो रहा है इसमें? एक्चुअली पहले ये जो विंड था, ये विंड बोट का स्पीड बढ़ाते जा रहा था. But then what is going to happen? Your viscosity is then going to come into the picture. So the wind is trying to speed the boat, but then viscosity will not allow the boat to keep increasing its speed. Okay, so wind का force बढ़ रहा है, boat का speed बढ़ रहा है, but as the boat speed increases, viscosity keeps increasing because viscosity increases with relative velocity. So finally एक state आ जाएगा जब wind का force और ये viscous force दोनों बराबर हो जाएगा. So at that instant the boat will maintain, I mean at that point forward the boat's velocity will not change, क्योंकि आगे push करने वाला force अपना air का force, wind का force, यही आंसर आया sigma A1 V1 square, है ना. तो आगे push करने वाला force मतलब wind का force और viscous force बराबर होना चाहिए. तो आगे पुश करने वाला फोर्स इतना है. अब बोट का वेलोसिटी पता नहीं, कुछ नाम दे दो उसे, V2 नाम दे दिया. V2 अब कांस्टेंट है. ठीक है, तो अगर बोट सच में V2 वेलोसिटी से जा रहा है So what is the viscous force that is going to act on this boat? Isn't it eta, area of the base? What is the area of my base now? A2 delta V. What is delta V? Well, what is delta V between this layer and that layer? Floor to rest pe hai. So delta V is definitely now going to be the velocity of this guy. So the velocity of this boat is V2. So delta V is V2. Eta A2 V2 by H. That's it. This is your force of viscosity. So the force by wind is going to be equal to the force by the water. The forward force by the wind is equal to the backward viscous force by your liquid, by the water. Forward force by wind thrust force के concept से निकाला है sigma A1 V1 square. Backward force, the backward viscous force, viscosity के concept से निकाला है eta A2 V2 by H. यहाँ से V2 का वैल्यू हमें मिल रहा है. V2 is sigma H A1 H by, in fact V1 square भी है, V1 square by eta A2. Sigma A1 H V1 square by eta A2. Yeah, this is your V2. Just make sure you understood this. Definitely this is a tough question, so don't feel bad if you didn't get it, but just understand this. This was just a revision of thrust force by a liquid. It's a good exposure to the idea of steady state as well. In the next concept, वापस steady state आएगा. So it's just a steady state मतलब velocity constant है. हर चीज constant है. तो मतलब at this condition, in this condition, velocity constant कैसा होगा? जब acceleration 0 रहेगा. Acceleration 0 होने के लिए force 0 होना पड़ेगा. मतलब अपना viscous force और अपना thrust वाला force वो दोनों बराबर होना पड़ेगा. And I think this is the answer Sanika got as well. Very nice. Very nice. Did anyone else get this answer? I'll show the 11th page. But anyone who hasn't understood any part of this? Okay, so I've just shown a few variations, some tougher questions on viscosity, but again, most of the questions normally are going to be of the first basic standard example type. That's what I've normally seen in a lot of papers. Steady. So steady state means constant. So when I said ki the steady state velocity of the boat, because actually ho kya raha hai, pehle the wind is causing the boat speed to increase. But as the boat speed increases, the viscous force also increases. So as long as wind ka force, viscous force se zyada hai, the boat continues to accelerate. As the boat continues to accelerate, viscous force continues to increase. एक पॉइंट आएगा जब फॉरवर्ड एक ऐसा वेलोसिटी अटेन होगा जब फॉरवर्ड विंड का फोर्स एंड वो बैकवर्ड विस्कस फोर्स मैग्नीट्यूड में बराबर हो जाएंगे. उस पॉइंट के आगे, since force is now net on the whole zero, your boat's velocity will ultimately become constant. Your boat's velocity will ultimately become constant. Yeah? So this is why a boat does not keep accelerating and accelerating indefinitely. Even if a wind is continuously blowing, your velocity can't just keep increasing. Right? You're also going to experience some viscous force, some resistive forces from the surroundings. And ultimately, you will reach a max velocity. What is happening at that max velocity? Why isn't your velocity increasing further? At that max velocity, it so happens that all the forces pulling you behind are equal to the forces pushing you forward. समझ में आया? किसी को समझ में नहीं आया तो पूछ लो. Okay, yes, you guys can leave. Welcome. Bye. All the best for your MT. All this is not in your MT, so don't worry. Okay? Bye. Bye. Welcome. Good night.